All right, welcome to the call, everybody. Today is July 23rd, 2023, and this is our weekly outlook. I'm super happy and grateful to be here with you guys for another week. We're going to run through a couple of things here in just a moment, go over some of the setups from last week, some of the trades that we placed. We won. I know for last week there were 4 trades that we discussed. 2 of them were won, 2 of them were lost, but we came out positive from a pips perspective. So we'll go over some of those things today. We do have a very news heavy week, so I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into it. You guys will be a little bit quicker on this call today. All right. So starting off the week, we have PMI news for the Euro, GBP, and USD. This is all red folder news. We'll see how that information comes out and is received. So this is the level of diffusion index based on surveying purchase managers and manufacturing industry. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. PMI news is not really, I don't know if somebody's got a breakdown for the PMI, but it's not really something that I have an extensive knowledge on. The level of diffusion, I don't know what that really means, but I know that they have their forecasted numbers at 53.2, and if the number that comes out when this news is released is greater, then it should affect the currency positively based on what they're saying here. With that being said, I'm going to be looking for some volatility in the market early on in the week. From Monday, I'm not going to be up for these London sessions. So, when I wake up in the morning for New York, we'll be able to see where the market has moved to in the overnight hours. 9:45, we've got some USD PMI news as well. And I'll be taking a look at the dollar to see how the market moves overnight as well as on the open, to see if there's any opportunity for tomorrow. We've got AUD CPI news. So if you guys were looking to take those trades on the Australian dollar, we'll take a look at that and see if there's any setups for that, Eric. That is showing as on Tuesday, we might see a little bit more of the volatility come into the market here. The consumer price index will be released on Tuesday. Some federal funds rates. We've got a pretty there's news throughout the week. It looks heavy in the beginning of the week. And then we do have some monetary policy statements and unemployment claims to close out the week as well. So it should be pretty balanced start to finish. There's opportunity that we should see, throughout. So I think it's just about waiting on the ideal setups as we do, staying patient and not, forcing ourselves or, anything along those lines. But as we go ahead and jump into it, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and just kick it off. We'll go through a couple of things. I'll share a few perspectives. I want to go ahead and just do a quick review of the trade opportunities from last week that were won and lost, because the first thing that I'd like to start off with is a review of the dollar index. And I lost most of all of my trades that were US dollar trades last week. I tried to take a buy on the New Zealand dollar, NZD USD. And this one was a setup that did not work out for me. I tried to take a buy right in this area here, expecting that we were getting a pullback here. Price actually takes off into profits, and I ended up seeing my stops get hit. I also lost a Great British Pound GBP USD buy as well. We took the original buy. We were profitable. When price pulled back, I'm like, we may get that continuation, but it pushed through, and I took a loss on that as well. So all in all, about 100 pips lost on US based pairs. It's still potential. Obviously, we gained 237 pips and then we lost 42 pips. That's good risk management. We're still positive 190 pips on the Great British Pound versus the US dollar overall. And then we did have a couple of pairs, a couple of trades that went really well. We looked at some of the JPY pairs from USD JPY to Euro JPY, and we were able to capitalize on a few great setups on those pairs, right? This was one that was called, we actually called the USD and the Euro on the weekly outlook calls from last week, right? We were able to identify a couple of different things. Number one, I'm looking at just the trend overall of where the market has been moving, right? We're looking at the trend. And the reason why I'm looking at the trend is not because I expect this trend to be respected 100%. Sometimes we break through, we get these little like probes and these little breaches and things like that. But what ends up happening is when we start to see when we see that trend break or that trend violation, it alerts my eyes to the next potential opportunity, right? Because most times when the trend line breaks, and we can see where it broke at as well, if we look left, this is trading back into structure, right? We have major structure on a higher time frame, the 4-hour and the daily time frame that price is breaking back into, and then we have this trend line that's broken very smoothly, right? We get this how do you say, like a doji candle here, right? And then price breaks above with a bullish engulfing candle and a bullish engulfing candle. And then we start to get this sideways consolidation, right? We start to get this sideways consolidation. In this sideways motion, we want to see if price is going to creep just a little bit lower to come in and maybe mitigate these imbalances in here, right? And that's exactly what we get. From that point in time, we see price actually pushes back in and we're just trading to the next highs. Sometimes what you can do is you can aim for the highs overall, but I saw this as an imbalance here to where we could trade back into this range, right? I actually think that this can go longer, but we'll take a look at this a little bit more as we break through. I just want to go ahead and review some of the opportunities from last week. Outside of that, we also had a Euro JPY, which played out very well. These are just like those easy textbook trades, you guys. Easy textbook trades, just in understanding like where we are in the market. And all we're doing is we're trading back into the highs, just like I said. We've got the same kind of a trend line to where we have a touch, and then price breaks that trend line, you guys. It's the basics, it's the simple things, it's not the overcomplicating. As we see that break of the trend line, what we can see is that we've got like this order block to where price is trading in here. We've got buys and sells and buys and sells all in the same place where we now break through to break the trend line. Price trades back in to come and test right at that level, and we see how price pulls off from there, and we're 286 pips in profit off of that entry in itself. So very good week when it came to the JPYs. I didn't get a chance to enter into GBP JPY. There was a lost opportunity on that, but this was one that was curious to me as well. It's very interesting to me. We'll do a review of that because I see some opportunities. This is not a trade, but I do see a couple things that I'd like to bring to my immediate attention. But of course, you guys, as we start in, again, I had to start off by just saying, yeah, I took some losses on the dollar this past week. That's why it's good to have like other pairs that are not related to the dollar, like the Euro NZDs and the Euro JPYs and the GB, the other things that just do not have USD on it when the dollar gets confusing, because I took 2 L's on this. So this is what I want to see this week, in order to help me build that confidence back around this dollar setup, right? Couple things that I want to note. So we are seeing, we have been calling some buys on the dollar, and we are seeing a little bit of bullish momentum on the dollar, right? What you can also note is that, first of all, we had this alert down here, and it never, I missed that by a hair, right? And then we've seen price pull off. The second thing is that we are taking off on the dollar around a major psychological level, right? That the even 100, right? 100, this is a big thing. And this is where we're starting to see some momentum pull off in the market. So that's something that I would take note of, because from that 100, it's, I can expect us to see maybe 102.5 if we're able to maintain this bullish momentum, right? It doesn't mean that we go straight there. There's potentials to where we can have, maybe price pulls back into this level here. Let me see if I can annotate, and we'll do something like this. Maybe we'll see price pull back into this level here and do something like this. And as we pull back into this area here, maybe we get that higher high and price pulls off, and we get a trade set up like that. That's something that I would be willing to look at for the dollar. I do believe, even though I did that to myself. Even though we missed, I technically missed the opportunity to enter the market where I wanted to, right? You can see that I had the alert set and I wanted to enter a little bit lower. I kind of wanted price to trade, and maybe it still does, but I wanted price to come and test these highs that were broken and trade back into this like area here, maybe a little bit lower. So I don't know if what I'm kind of looking for at this time is to see if price like is just pulling back and we do something that's like this and pull back to maybe this structure at the 61.8 or maybe right in here, and then from that point in time to see if we get sells back into this like negative 27 area, because this would validate my expectation, and I like that a little bit, to see if we would do something like this. And then from that point in time to see if we actually get our launch, because I do want to see for some reason, man, I'm still I don't know. I want to see this dollar, like it is and the thing is that it's consolidating sideways. We've got a similar setup there with the dollar as well, to where we have the break of this trend line and then price starts to move sideways. We have these lows and price comes in to like take out these lows. But then I want to see if we're going to test this structure here and then see some bullish momentum. Or if the dollar is just really going to fall, to where, we might expect for it to do. So I want to see something like this. I actually like this kind of a price action setup on the dollar. And I'm just going to be patiently waiting and watching to see if we test some of these areas or some of these points. So now what I might do is I might bring this a little bit lower into here, 99.25. Because I would want it to pull back a little bit farther at this point now, right? 2.5. And then I'm also going to put an alert here as well, 102. And we might have, I'm not going to take the sells though, but I just want to make sure that I'm alerted that once price touches in this area here, there's a possibility that we see that extension lower, right? And I'm going to keep my markup just like this so I can see what it is that I'm looking for. With that being said, we move to NZD USD. I'm kind of upset, you guys, because I want to see that. I think I might want to see the dollar fall a little bit farther because I want to see NZD USD. Like I've been wanting to see this like launch for some reason, and it's not, it's not, some of the numbers that are coming out are not supporting that. Like, I don't know, so I'm trying to, I don't know. I lost this trade last week on NZD USD. I'm going to show you guys what I was looking at and what I wanted to happen and what I still think is possible to happen. So there's a couple areas in this market, and I'm going to clean this up as we go. There's a couple areas in this market that I would love to see the market test, right? There's a couple places that I would love to see the market go to. Let's see, what else can I clean up? All right, let's see, clean all this up, clean all this up. On the daily, let's see, clean all this up. That's cool. I think that's good. That should be clear or more clear. All right, few areas that I want to see the market test, and we'll start from the daily time frame. So number one, we've got this area, this imbalance up here where I've got this alert set at. I would love to see the market come and take out these highs. We've got highs, 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 highs. There's so much money, liquidity in this area here, right? I would love to see the market buy into this area, take out these highs, even if we continue to the downside, right? I would love to see that. If my real focus would be this higher area here, this 0.675, At this time now, it's about 500, 600 pips away from where we are now. I would love to see us come into this higher area here. That would make that I would be thrilled if that were to happen. I like these two areas up here. I also like this. I like for the market to come into this area. So essentially what I want to do is I want to try to get the best entry, the best opportunities, the best trade setup. I want to, I don't always like trading in the middle here, even though I found some opportunities here. When I took that trade in the middle here, I took a loss trading in the middle, right? I wanted to see if price would maintain above this block right here, right? Try to get an entry here. We see price pull off, and I wanted to see if we would get like a higher high. We didn't, and we got that rejection, and I wasn't able to close out my trade. Price hits, and we hit stop loss. My stop loss was below the candle that started this move. So this was just a failed setup. And when the setup fails, now I have to ask, where can price be? Where might the market be trading into? Is there a zone or an area in the market that I didn't see, or that I overlooked, or an area that still needs to be retested that is now within range? I kind of see this area down here as there's a little bit of a gap here, right? You guys know I always like to target some of these wicks down here. Like I love targeting some of the wicks. I believe price will often trade back into this area. Sometimes we'll get a full body candle closure here. But oftentimes, if I look here, if we create like a double bottom here, if it does happen, price comes in here and then bounces and comes back up here, then we end up, I look left and I see like an area where we have a little bit of a gap. Right, or I shouldn't say a gap, but more of a like they would call it like a fair value gap. We've kind of got like where price takes off here and it comes back to retest, but it never retests like the base of where we took off from. I feel like price can trade into this lower area here. It's about 50 pips in reality, maybe 60 pips, down into this area here. And from this point in time, I would be looking for buys on the New Zealand dollar. So for me, as you guys know, like I'll do the analysis on the dollar, do the analysis on whatever. They're not all gonna, this is not gonna go in the same, like if the New Zealand dollar launches, the dollar is gonna fall. So I would probably have to look at another scenario where that happens. And maybe that's price pushing into here, the dollar buys to sell, which means New Zealand dollar sells to buy. Maybe that's how price plays out, but I would be looking at these areas here, and I want to see price trade into here. I want to see these highs taken out, and we're looking at a nice 7-to-1 risk reward trade setup if we wait for price to trade back down into this area here. So I do like the 0.61 area for this week for the New Zealand dollar right here. And we are going to just set an alert, and it's going to be potential buys, and we'll take a look at that. And we'll see if we can get an entry into this trade this week. When I give the alerts and whatnot, you guys can go ahead and set them yourself. You take them yourself. If I don't call them and y'all was on the call, I might already be in it, and we might just let it ride from that point. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys see them, keep your eyes out for yourself, and we'll see if we can make those things happen, and we can all profit from here. I would love this. This would be the most, I would love this trade. This is one that I've been patient for. It would be like, imagine price, buying from this level here, right? We're buying from here, and then we start to consolidate sideways as we accumulate more orders. And from the bottom, what we end up doing is we end up creating like an equal measured move of, if it was this whole thing, and look, there's highs in here as well, highs. I want all of that taken out, right? I want all of that like taken out. I want all of those highs taken out. I want price to come back in here and try to test in this area here. And I think that would give me I would love to see it happen. But as we continue, we've got Euro NZD. Euro NZD, I might be holding off on this trade for the week, so I don't think I'm going to do a full analysis for it. I want to see some other things from it. I wanted to see Euro NZD sell back into here, and it's not done that. We look like we've just taken out the highs on the 4-hour time frame. So from the highs that were just taken out, I want to see where to next, right? I don't really have a clear view on where to next. We might see Euro NZD trading all the way up into this area here. So I'm kind of holding off on this one. I don't really like it for myself. If you guys see anything different, feel free to throw your analysis in any one of the groups. Euro NZD, I'm going to take a pass on this one for the week, most likely. And we're going to move on to USD CAD. USD CAD for me is another interesting pair because I was waiting for something this past week that I didn't quite get, and I believe it'll still come, right? I want to see USD CAD trade lower. I want it to trade lower into this 1.306 area here. I want to kind of mitigate this imbalance that we're so close to, and then to take a launch from there. Like that's what I'm looking at on USD CAD. I want to continue the buys, but I believe that we might get like a small sell or a small pullback before that happens officially. So we might see price do something like this. I'm not really, something like this, and we trade in here. And then we see price continue. So USD CAD, I've already got the alerts set. I set them from last week, but the trade did not execute. So we'll go ahead and we will take a look at that. We'll keep that on the list for the week this week. USD JPY, you guys, very interesting place for UJ, right? So we had some great price action. We were able to take buys off of this structure here. Now we're coming back to a point. And if you guys look at this, if you look on the smaller time frames, that's why I always do it. Like I analyze from the top down, from the daily to the 4-hour to the 1 hour, because you'll see something different on each time frame. On the daily, this line that I push through here is just like, it seems like such an aggressive trend line. But on the 4-hour time frame, you can see where it touches a little bit smoother, and where it breaks that trend line, it's actually really easy. It just breaks it, and I don't have to freak out when it breaks the trend line and try to enter the trade up here because it broke out. I can understand that after a trend line break, my best entry is always going to be on the retest of that, that trend line break. And it doesn't have to come and touch the line, but if the market is trading in a zone, right? If we're trading in our zone right here and price trades back into that area, we can now get our entries off of this structure, right? This market structure. Price trades back in here and we get a beautiful, easy setup. UJ right now, this trade to me is a one opportunity, and I don't see the next opportunity yet, right? I want to see what price does. Does it trade back into here, right? I don't think so. I think that price we might see price push into the highs. It's really going to be depending on what, the dot will really, we'll have to wait and see. This is a one trade. I want to see price trade higher. I missed this block up here. It's a potential that price trades into there, but then there's also another potential here as well. So these are the two things that I'll be looking for, two scenarios, right? And in these two scenarios, we are going to, for now, I'm going to pull out like my fibs, because the fibs are showing me where price has just pulled away from. Right? It's going to show me like a retracement. If this was a sell, because there's definitely some big sellers in the market here, right? There's also some big buyers. But from those big sellers, if we're trading now at the 61.8, right? We're trading now at the 61.8. From that 61.8, if we were to experience like an equal measured move of this first downtrend, this first sell, right? It would pull us into this lower area here, right? Into this lower area here, we'd be right in alignment back at market structure. And I might be looking to take buys from that point, right? So UJ is another interesting one this week. We had a great week last week with USD JPY, and I believe that there's a potential for, another great week as well. I may or may not enter. Let's see. It's all going to be based on the risk to reward. that we're looking at. We obviously want to look at like a 1 to 3 risk to reward trade setup. And I'm probably going to be looking at something that is above this high here, pulling that in, and that is 130 pip stop loss. That's a bit too big for me, personally. Maybe you'll be able to put a penny on there and see if price continues from there. But what I'd be looking for is we're going to look for the price action setups from here, right? If market's trading in this level, maybe I look for a bearish engulfing candle or look for some additional confirmations, to where I want to be able to dial this back. And I want to get it, to where my stop loss is reasonable as much as I can. And my risk to reward is the best. So from there, I might be looking at sells on USD JPY. And I want to see, maybe even buys from there. So this one is one to where I'm not entering it at this time because the stop loss that I have is it's too large. I need to see some more price action. So hopefully the market doesn't just take off and I miss the opportunity. But I would want to see a little bit more. Euro JPY, that's also a one opportunity. Like I feel like that's already been a success, but I do see a potential here, right? So I want to evaluate this on a couple different time frames. Me personally, I like to look at like weird time frames that people may overlook, and I just cycle through things to see if I see anything different. What I might do is from the daily time frame, this is what I see, right? And I'll try to take the trade like this. I see this area here where we've got this block 1, 2, 3, and price breaks out, right? That essentially creates the imbalance that's testing the highs. We didn't have enough force to create a higher high here yet. So there's a potential that we get a rejection from the highs on Euro JPY. That's about 130 pips. It's not saying that I need to be short this trade because this is a lot of bullish and, like I'm not betting against the bulls right now, but at the exact same point, what I can do is I can understand that a sell is potential or possible. We may see price pull back into structure here, and then we may be able to get an additional entry. Well, I'm not in the trade anymore, but we may be able to get a re-entry into this market, right? And to trade back into, I don't know where, we'll see. But I like this setup here. Right. I like this setup here. Let's make sure risk to reward is lit, that we're good on that. And we will see all of these are a little bigger. And I got a friend who would trade to like the 50% of this block as well. Let's see. 50%. All right. Wait, let me see something. And I might go ahead and say daily 50. I would enter this one as a limit. I would just place the limit order on this one. If I lose it, I lose it. 50 pips stop loss, 55 pips maybe. I want to see these highs taken out. We haven't come through with enough pressure yet. There hasn't been enough pressure yet to take out these highs. This high is still lower than this high, so they may push price may be pushed lower. You know what I'm saying? But I think that if it does go, I think we might find some support in here. Stop loss below the lows. And then what I may be looking to do from there is I may be looking to take price higher. Let's see. Mm, 157.75. $6.45. Like that. I like this a lot. This is something for us to see as well, but I'd be willing to take that. Like I'll give up some of the pips that we, 287 pips, 50 pips, we still be up 230, even if I lose the trade. We got pips for we got enough to take another opportunity on this. I like this. I like this. Let me make sure. Last week, while I was talking through it, I wasn't taking screenshots of everything. So I didn't even have some of the all right. 156. 156.8. How high is that? 156.8. You guys place these trades and work out for you this week. Show some love in the chat. I like this setup. And we shall see. We'll let this one ride. Got that clean trend line break. And price is changing its structure. We've now gone from the downtrend that we're seeing to seeing higher lows and higher highs. If we want to continue that trend, the next thing that we look for is the next higher low. If price pulls back and we make another higher low in this area here, then we have a great trade setup, and we'll see price trade away from there. I think that's my favorite for the. Oh, wait a second! Did this just happen? Did this just happen? I showed you guys this one at the beginning, didn't I? Ooh, is that how the market opened? Stop playing with me, man. That's beautiful. Wow. How many pips is that? That's not even that many pips, but it looks clean just opening up like that, 15 pips. That's cool. Man, easy money. I'll tell you why I saw this one. I'll tell you why I saw this one. Look where price is traded into and rejected from. Pull back and we create a lower high. We've got this same imbalance down here where price pulled away from that we can come back and retest. I like that. We'll see how that one plays out. Take a screenshot of that as well. That's still on the JPYs. So that's still in alignment with the JPYs. You feel me? Like that's where we had the best. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. See, look at everything, guys. These are all the trades that we're talking about right now. So we'll see how these play out. Prices are already actually moving in our direction. Already that would be 30 pips off of that. Haven't entered anything for the week so far. Haven't called anything, but as we continue going through, we'll wrap it up here. GBP USD. I lost the GBP USD trade last week as well. Lost it fast and easy, right? But I like where price is trading at now. And I want to see if we're going to trade out of this area here. See what yeah, I want to see what we get from here. I like where we're trading at. What I would want to see is I want to see maybe a break and a retest. And I want to take a very basic, easy money trade, right? Right back to the highs. Smooth and easy 50. And trading back to the highs in here. This, ooh, it could be something. I ain't gonna lie to you, I like it. I lost it, but I like it. I get the money right back. I bet another 50 pips. I bet another 50 pips. And we'll see how that rocks, see how that works out. See if price comes and tests these highs. Euro USD. Euro USD, this one, we called this a while ago, early on in the summer. I want to see if price pulls back into this area here, maybe comes and trades like a little lower right there. And then if we get re-entries from that point, I think Euro and USD may continue, or we can pull into here. We can pull into this lower area here as well. But I don't like that this target was missed just by a little bit. I wanted to see price trade a little higher. We almost got there. We got a pullback coming in now. Euro GBP. Oh, man, I'm on fire already. We call this Friday, and I believe this is going to, this one is going to, what I would love to see on Euro GBP is I would love to see this lower level tested, right? I want to see price trade a little bit lower. The reason why my stop loss is where it's at is because there is room for price to trade back into here to give us a full candle body closure. It doesn't have to, but if it does, that's a good sign for us. And I want to see price trade lower. What people will notice here, or what they might miss actually, what they won't notice is that in this trade, we have our low and we have a lower low, right? So when price trades back in and we create a high, is this high lower than this previous high? Yes, it is. So if we have our lower low and we have our lower high, we're still in that downtrend, even though we have this bullish action. I'd like to see price test lower before we make that move to the upside. And then of course we got our NAS. I might look at gold as well. NAS. There's a couple areas on NAS that I'd like to keep an eye on. One is at this like 15,200 area here, key 15,200 area here, key, right? We could trade right back into here and then take off from there. We also have the lower side to where we could potentially see price trade into this 14,600, but the fact that we've moved so far from that point already, I don't necessarily have that as my first layer of support, right? I might look at this 15,200 and see if price turns around from that point. If so, my targets are still 16,300. And we'd have, what is that, 1,200 point move on NAS. Before I get off, since we were doing pretty great on time, let me go ahead and we will take a quick look at gold. Me and gold been getting along well. We've been doing all right. I keep this here because I told my girl to buy gold at 1910. It went to 1982. That's like 700 points. It's crazy. We're seeing some sales coming in now. And what I believe can happen is I believe we might be looking at this 1940 area, right? See price trading back into this lower area here. And then once we enter, you guys see I already got the alert set on that. Once we enter, we'd be looking to take price back to the top and above, right? And above. I do believe that we can get some motion. I believe we can get some motion. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Well, that's all I got for the week here. Some pretty standard, easy setups. It's interesting how this opened. And we're just being patient and we're just waiting and seeing. We got some sells. It looks like that came in on Euro. Oh, Euro NZD is still not open yet. USD CAD is selling. Did I call something on USD CAD? Did I skip over USD CAD? Oh no, USD CAD we want lower. We want it to sell. So it opened up lower. So that's cool. Just a couple points, like 4 points. But yeah, you guys, hope you guys got some value. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. I may be dropping a couple of, I might have some interesting news coming up soon, you guys. Some stuff to share with you guys, some changes that are taking place. I'll have a couple of, I might send out a couple things this week, maybe a couple sessions. And hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. If you guys take any of these trades as we've reviewed them, show some love in the chat. And I'll see you guys on the next weekly outlook. Hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.